Hey there, Shua here with another drawing tutorial. Today I'm going to be talking about two-point perspective as it relates to interior and exterior views. Okay, on an exterior view you use your vanishing point and you draw your guidelines back. Okay, I'll try and keep this level as best I can. And you go back. Whoa, that's horrible. Okay, there we go. Close enough. And then now you've got the beginning of a building. Okay, and that's from an exterior view. And obviously the viewer sees that building from pretty far away. Okay, if you had a ruler you could obviously be a lot more precise. The difference when you move to interior view is instead of drawing back toward vanishing point, you still, or vanishing point 1, you still line up with it, but you extend it away from the vanishing point. Same thing here for vanishing point 2. Instead of drawing the guidelines to vanishing point 2, you extend them away from vanishing point 2. And come down here and do the same thing. Okay, and then you draw the corners of the room or the interior of the wall. Now from this perspective you'll also be able to draw the ceiling and the floor, and I think if we get into this a little bit you'll be able to tell a little bit more easily how that works. So vanishing point 2 here becomes this kind of front edge, and I don't yet know how far to extend it until I come from vanishing point 1, and wherever they crisscross is kind of the front portion or the front corner of that room. Now obviously in an interior perspective you're not going to see these walls, but this at least gives you a little bit of an idea how that works. So again, from vanishing point 1 we extend this line, and from vanishing point 2 we want it to intersect with that point, and wherever it crosses here kind of becomes that. Obviously with a ruler it would have been a lot more precise, but hopefully this starts to give you an idea of that space. Then what you can do is you can kind of start to, like, I'm going to bisect this with an X, start to get the midpoint of that plane here, and I'm going to go from vanishing point 2, and that becomes kind of the midsection of the ceiling here. And then if I wanted to draw another X here from there to there, there's the next midpoint, and I could again go from vanishing point 2 through there, draw an X here and an X there, vanishing point 2 extended like that, and then you could crisscross it this way. Obviously all these X's should, well, hopefully line up if I did it correctly. I don't know, maybe I did not. Kind of close I guess, something like that. And then again you could divide this in half. There's a midpoint, there's a midpoint, and draw that back to vanishing point 1. So now what you've got is kind of a checkered shape, or ceiling tiles in perspective for the interior of your space. So if this were like an office building or something, you could definitely tell there's typically tiles, you know, paneling or whatever for your ceiling, and that would become a decent representation of it. And obviously if you had a tile floor it would make a lot of sense to maybe do a smaller kind of checkerboard print. And I'm just going to kind of guesstimate here. I'm not going to do the same dividing. What I was doing there was dividing the space using an X to find the midpoint of the plane, and then I was just taking that midpoint and extending it to the vanishing points to get a accurate kind of bisection of these of the big plane divided down into smaller planes. Now the thing that's kind of interesting about this interior space is that once you've drawn it, you can kind of flip into an exterior sort of mode in this two-point perspective to draw some furniture. So for instance I might say, well, there's going to be a dresser right here, and maybe it'll go rest back against this wall. I will draw from this line, or from the bottom of this line back to my vanishing point, back to vanishing point 2. If I've done this right, it will line up with my tile floor, which I think my measurements are a little bit suspect. Here's it's a little bit better, so maybe this becomes that front edge, and then again from here back to the vanishing point, something like that. Okay, and then from here back to this vanishing point. And so now, looking at the furniture, this becomes an exterior view because you're outside the furniture. So all of a sudden, what in an exterior view here might have looked like a building, now that same size kind of object becomes furniture because you're much closer to the object. If you're standing way back and this is like a city or skyline, this object begins to look like a building, and you'd expect to see little tiny windows in it, like so. Okay, and now, wow, that's a building. Okay, but then you put it inside of an interior space, and an object of a similar size as that, not quite as tall, but about the same volume, becomes more of a piece of furniture. But the big point about this is how interior and exterior is kind of a weird way of saying you're flipping your perspective from being inside of an object or inside of a box to being outside of that box. Again, thanks for watching. This is Shua. I'm the creator of the Legend of Harapan. If you haven't gotten a copy, you can grab one digital copy on Comixology for just 99 cents, or you can grab one from me in print, a print version. I'd be happy to sign it for you, and it's $5 for that. And there's also a little Easter egg here, a free PDF of it on my website, thelegendofharapan.com. So check it out. Thanks for watching.